nervous because I'm here now.
Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell. And in this episode, we're going to talk about a fun topic that I've been seeing all over social media, and that is every playoff team, if you could bring back any player on offense or defense from the history of your franchise to insert in his prime into this playoff team going into the wild card weekend. I thought that was a really fun exercise. I saw a lot of different names being thrown about for the Ravens, both offensively and defensively. So I thought it would be pretty fun. What do you think, Jimbo?
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. I'm excited to knock your socks off, buddy.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear who you have that's going to surprise me, because he's teased it. He says he's going to shock me with his offensive pick. So I'm ready for it. But before we get started, if you guys could take a quick second, hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate that. But Jimmy, where do you want to start? Offense, defense?
Let's go offensive right away.
Okay.
I can't hold it in anymore. I got to tell you where I'm going. Okay.
All right.
So first of all, let me set the stage. Offensively, this is kind of initially my brain went immediately to wide receiver, Derek Mason, Anquan Bolden, or even then to tight ends. You talk about like a Todd Heap or a Shannon Sharp. I mean, a guy in his prime, like Shannon Sharp, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But then I remembered what this team is all about. We ran the ball 404 yards last week. I think that's fourth in NFL history. And in a 5-week span, we have run the ball over 1,500 yards, the record in the Super Bowl era in a 5-week span. So we've done all that with our right tackle in his second position at left tackle. So I'm going to bring back the original Ravens pick in J.O. Put him in at left tackle, put Orlando Brown back at right tackle. And, you know, I think
people.
All day. We talk about the average size of our offensive line now.
It would go up.
It's just.
I mean, how much bigger though is Ogden than Fluker?
No, well, that's true. But think about not having to worry about Tyree Phillips or Fluker as your right tackle. Now you have a Pro Bowler back in his his number one position in the NFL, and you have a Hall of Famer, arguably one of the best left tackles of all time. Right. I mean, he's God built a left tackle, and it was Jonathan Ogden.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So to me, I think that while there's some sexy pieces and other things you could do, the most valuable thing to our team is running the football. It makes our defense better. It makes Lamar better. So you throw Jonathan Ogden in there and you lock up that spot, and you allow Zeus and Powers to then hold down the right side of the line. So that's where I'm going.
Okay. All right. I'm not mad at it. I'm kind of surprised when I was kind of thinking you were going to go O-line there, that you didn't go back to old Marshall.
I thought about it.
Nothing wrong with the greatest left tackle in NFL history.
No.
I'm not mad about that. For me, I feel like when I look at this roster, there's that one big glaring weakness and one big missing piece, and that is, to me, a number one big time possession receiver that can go get the ball. And in my opinion, in Raven history, there's no better than Anquan Bolden at doing just that, at making those contested tough catches, and also what he brings in the blocking game as a receiver. I think everyone who's been a Ravens fan long enough remembers the hey diddle Ray Rice up the middle that really saved our season. Well, that wouldn't have happened had it not been for Anquan Bolden absolutely destroying Eric Weddle when he was still in a Chargers uniform, knocking him unconscious. And Eric Weddle later admitted he doesn't remember that play because he was absolutely destroyed. Anquan Bolden was a physical specimen. And not only what he brought on the field, but this is a man of the year. This is a guy who's an incredible locker room influence on younger players and older players. I feel like Anquan Bolden would fit perfectly. Imagine that red zone threat being inserted in this offense. That you talk about the physicality that Dez has now brought and could bring more of if he's given more opportunity. Well, Anquan Bolden is every bit of that physicality and plays even bigger than his already impressive frame. So I got to go with my guy, Anquan. I think most fans were extremely disappointed to see him leave when he did leave. I think it was kind of a shock to a lot of people. Feels like he was here for more than 3 years. He made such an impact in just those 3 years. But yeah, I got to go with Anquan for the offensive side. What do you got defensively?
All right. So defensively, once again, I did this brain exercise in my mind, and I thought about immediately my mind went to 5-2, right? You got to bring back Ray Lewis. I mean, it's almost sacrilegious not to. But then I thought about the first rounder, of course, that we got in Patrick Queen, and so there's a bit of redundancy there, and so I want to buoy up a position group that maybe doesn't have quite the depth or even the quality of play. So then I went to safety, but you talk about Ed Reed. But something kept coming back in my mind and getting to the quarterback in those days where we played against Ben in the playoffs, the days that we played against Tom Brady in the playoff, getting to the quarterback, getting to the quarterback, getting to the quarterback. So I'm going with double nickel, 5-5, T Sizzle, whatever you want to call him, Terrell Suggs, the gladiator. A prime Terrell Suggs, stealing the edge with a guy like Derrick Henry running the ball. Going after Tannehill, being able to be that all-in-one. I mean, he's so physically imposing, and then he's still able to get to the quarterback. Is I didn't realize how rare it was because I took him for granted. But to be able to get to the quarterback at that size and be so dominant in the run game, and so laterally, able to get back and forth. I mean, it's just incredible. So to me,
so smart too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm totally discounting the mental side of the game. So to me, I'm going with Terrell Suggs getting after the quarterback, and I'm sticking to it. Where are you going?
I like that, man. I got a Terrell Suggs signed mini football over my shoulder here. I got a one of my favorite photos is a picture of Suggs strip sacking Big Ben.
Yes.
I can imagine him being inserted in this offense with Judon and Ngakoue. Defense with Judon and Ngakoue and Calais Campbell, and then Pernell McPhee you add in there. That pass rush would be absolutely terrifying. And I'm glad you brought up Suggs, because I feel like he's one of our truest legends. He's on the Mount Rushmore right now, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if it's just the way he left or what, but it just seems like he's been often forgotten here recently. So shout out to him, and thanks for bringing him up. But for me,
but I think people are a little bitter because he got a Super Bowl somewhere else. I think that's what it is. People are a little bitter. But anyway, you can go.
Fair enough. But for me, I, like you, immediately thought of Ray Lewis and what he would add to this upcoming game, taking on a guy like Derrick Henry. And man, it would be nice to have him out there. There's no doubt about it. But I got to go with my man Ed Reed, number 20. And the reason I have to do that is, it would be great to have 52 going up against Derrick Henry. But I think a lot of people look at the Titans team and Henry gets all the headlines. But man, let's not forget about how A.J. Brown absolutely torched us. Corey Davis had a fantastic game. And then if I look past this, which I don't want the Ravens players to do it, but if I look past and say the Ravens will beat the Titans, man, I got to assume we're going to take on the Chiefs in the following round and then likely have to go to Buffalo the round after that. And what do those teams do better than it seems like most? And that's throw the ball down the field. I mean, they got incredible. You got Diggs, who led the league in receptions and receiving yards in Buffalo, who loves to catch the deep ball, as well as John Smoke Brown, who I think a lot of Ravens fans remember, and his speed and what that can do to a defense. And then Tyreek Hill, to me, if he's not the best receiver, he's definitely top 3. And then obviously Travis Kelce almost damn near led the league in receiving as a tight end, which is insane. I think he was top 3 in both categories, and he did that as a tight end. And obviously Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen are right now competing for MVP of the league with A-Rod. So to me, if you had Ed Reed back there covering the deep third, I mean, we remember here, it's different now, but we remember when Ed was here, nobody threw the ball deep, certainly not deep over the middle. It just didn't happen. And when the ball was thrown deep, I remember back in those days, I was excited. I was going, I like our chances here when the ball's in the air. I mean, it's incredible that I was not afraid when they would cock back and heave the ball. I was just waiting the camera to catch up and find out where Ed was, because he was going to be near the ball. And there was a good chance he was going to come up with it. And then if he came up with it, who knows if he was going to return it for the touchdown, because we know he was always looking to do that. So to me, I go with Ed Reed, because people forget the prime Ed Reed was not just an incredible cover safety and a great deep third player. He was awesome in the box. His instincts at the line of scrimmage were also incredible. And he would blow guys up with big hits before the shoulder injuries kind of started to rack up. So to me, it's Ed Reed. And man, just having another guy like that. I love Deshaun Elliott. I love Chuck Clark, but neither one of them play the deep third, and nobody plays the deep third in the history of the league like Ed Reed. So to me, it's got to be Ed.
Yeah, no, it's hard to argue with your take. And I wouldn't dare do so. Ed to me, like you said, the way that he plays the deep third, and then on top of that, he's I think you mentioned this, special teams threat. He's just a big play guy. If Tom Brady has written on his arm, find out where number 20 is. If you have Tom Brady shaking in your boots about throwing the football, not about the pressure that you're going to apply on him from a pass rush perspective, because we know he'll get back there and, like Stephen A. Smith says, he'll start tap dancing. But if you can make him nervous about trusting his eyes and what he can do with his arm, you're a good safety. I mean, what else do people got to say? It's just incredible. So I think there was a span. Wasn't there a span in 1 year? I think it was 2008 or 9 where Ed had nine interceptions in like 7 games or something insane like that.
The guy was just incredible.
Yeah. So I can't argue your take there. So you guys let us know what you think. Who is it that you would take now? Like Glenn said, the qualifiers to this in their prime. So for example, even though Derek Mason's prime or even Anquan Bolden's prime, might have been on other teams, that's fine. As long as they play for the Ravens, who would you take in their prime? One offensive player, one defensive player, and why? We're excited to get this going in the comments section. We'll be sure to go back and forth with you guys. Let us know what you think about our picks, and we'll talk to you guys soon.